She just asked this question.
No, no, you can't. All right. Oh, yeah. I want to move the shelf up one. The problem is there's all four. I could get the first two, but I couldn't get the back two.
Why do they have it like? Why did they even have the tab?
I guess so you can't accidentally.
Where would it knock off to? I've never even seen these tabs. It's like an insoluble puzzle. Whose idea was it to put these little tabs on? This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
So then, no.
My name is Ford Suze. I'm 36 years old and I'm starting over. My previous adventure was outward, living my dream of discovering India and sharing it with the world. But this new adventure is inward, facing my lifelong struggle with depression and finding renewed purpose. Join me on this new journey of self-discovery and personal reinvention, building a better me. So it's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
One of the things about building a better me that we already kind of touched on was the facing setbacks thing. Like whenever it seems to get a plan in motion, all of the universe aligns against you to throw that plan off one way or another. Something's going to happen. They're going to close the pool. Someone's going to offer you the best dessert that you've ever had. My fitness schedule's already been thrown off because my mental schedule has been taxed this last couple weeks, starting a new coding course that was offered for free, a mini code boot camp offered by Lambda School, which has been very eye-opening and it's given me some things to work on, but it is just, yeah, it's just kind of totally thrown off the schedule. So I think it's important that even if you do lose some momentum, kind of go with the flow, you know, just to hold on, right? There's some things you just have to kind of hold on through. You don't want to make excuses and keep prolonging your goals, but real life happens and we have families and we have bills and there are a lot of things going on. So you kind of have to pick your battles sometimes. So one of the battles we decided to pick in the last couple of weeks was what we're calling man versus mild. So in this next sequence, you're going to see another side of Ford that you probably don't see on camera very often. The disgruntled, pouty Ford. You're probably going to watch this. If you were at all handy, you know, good working with your hands, fixing stuff, you're going to look at this and be like, man, what is wrong with this guy? And the answer is a lot. And that's what this whole year is about.
So you want to tell them about one of the other parts of building a better me that can make ladies happy.
Doing the honey-do list. Honey, please do this. So typically, the man, you know, fixes things around the house. So it's a little opposite in our relationship. I'm usually the one going around fixing things in the house. So we have these lovely organizational sliding drawers that go in this cabinet because see all this stuff that it was always so hard to get to and just kept, you know, it's those crazy nooks in your house that just, you just shove stuff in and you close the door real quick. We came up with this idea in India for this parody reality called Man versus Mild. Instead of Bear Grylls, Man versus Wild. So for Ford, he has to tackle domestic tasks. Like our original idea was, you know, like giving the baby a bath, changing a light bulb, like just really ridiculous, mundane family tasks.
Looks pretty sturdy.
It's not even in.
Down on the front. A little awkward getting back there, huh? You're getting all up close and personal with these cabinets this afternoon. Flex those muscles while you screw it in. All right, how about a grunt of success?
Just about one more.
Great of your labor.
So.
There it is in all its glory. Beautiful.
All right, man versus mild. I have a dresser to put together. Taking shape. We're almost. We're getting there. Hey, kitty cat. Taking shape. Gotta do the drawers now. What do you think about that, Loon? Loon. Hello. Hey. I'm talking at you. Hey. I'm talking at you. You gonna say hey? Yes? No? One thing I realized as I'm putting this together is, this kind of reminds me of the little bit of computer programming I'm dipping my toe into. Is that so much of it reminds me kind of like this. It's like things other people have already figured out. They have these modules, frameworks already in place, and you know, you do the work, but I mean, someone's already thought about how to fit everything together. Black and white stuff, what stuff?
Yeah?
Your jammies.
I forgot to put them with Sammy's.
Yeah, you did forget to put all your jammies.
Well, here we go. And it's not winning any awards, but I mean...
You got it together in one day without screaming.
I didn't scream, I didn't throw anything.
No. And all of the drawers are flush. And all of them roll. People were posting pictures of this thing with like drawers all off kilter and like not pushing in properly. That is man 1, mild 0.
In addition to man versus mild, a priority this week and this month for me is keeping my areas clean. That includes my finances for my business, my desk area and room, and then also my computer. My filing system on my computer is absolutely abysmal. I'm just the type of person who's like, I'll sometimes I type out like ASDFGA for a file name, you know, and just like crap 54 burp 33, you know, like my filing systems are horrible. I'm in the moment like, I'm just gonna make this thing really fast, and then I never can find anything later because I don't even remember what I named it. All this is part of building a better me, is trying to keep a better area. So my desk area looked like this last week, and it looks like this now. So we're making some progress on that area too. So that's good. Little bit by little bit, right? Can somebody, this is a real question, it has nothing to do with building a better me, but it kind of does, because I'm interested in insects and arachnids. This creature right here from Belize, Central America, what in the world is that thing? If someone can figure that out, I'd be appreciative. It looks like it only has 4 legs. Insects have 6. Arachnids have 8. What is that thing? I mean, it's quite possible that 2 of his legs got knocked off, but I mean, look at this thing. What is that? All right, back to building a better me.
I know from personal experience, I am the type of person, like, if it is going to be done, it needs to be done well and to perfection. So if I couldn't do it to perfection, then I just wouldn't do it. And so I feel like, you know, you set your goal, and if that day you only attain 30% of your goal, like, it's better to attain 30% than to just not do it. And it took me several years to teach myself that and get and be okay with that. But it's an important life skill.
Which ties in really well to Onome's post about from selfrevolution.com. His third point, so his first 2 were about water and food, the importance of both of those things. And the third one is about sleep, another thing that I am deficient in. This little bit right here is really good. When the sun starts to go down, you start to go down. You'll have the same number of hours to do what you want the next day. Whatever you're doing can, in all probability, wait. And I have been notorious for just getting onto a project and just staying up all night. Like, just not, I'm gonna get it done tonight. And years ago, before I went to India, a buddy of mine was like, one day, I had this idea I was gonna finish it by the end of the day. And he's like, Ford, we're gonna have to work on this finishing a video in a day thing. And I still struggle with that to this day. It's like, you know, you're gonna make more progress. One of these conferences I went to, in fact, this conference, our buddy Alan Branch, he had a company called Less Accounting, and they did a conference called Less Conf. And this was one of the best conferences I've ever been to in my life, in 2010 in Atlanta. And one of the guys talked about, it was Cameron Mall, and he's a designer genius, and he said he ended up saying a lot of his ideas were shower thoughts. Like when he shut off on the project, like quit working on the project in one way, and you know, he's sitting in the shower, and all of a sudden it would just hit him, and he's had these eureka moments, because your mind is still kind of subconsciously processing it. And if you give her some time away from the computer, so he actually got this little whiteboard that you could write on, in like a chalk or something, like you could write on in the shower, like, oh, that's a good idea, and he would actually write it down. I think that we really do take it for granted that sometimes a problem is just too complex to solve in one sitting, and especially for a person like me who's just like, well, I don't got time. So part of building a better us is taking it very slowly, one step at a time. We did have some moments from our live stream that we wanted to share in this video, as well as some responses to some viewer submissions videos that were pretty inspiring and gave us some things to think about and talk about.
So Hemant Pundit posted this video about trying to find our authentic self and how there is a pitfall when we're trying to refine our life, that we just peel everything back and we get, you know, down to the most depressed, sad part of ourselves and think this is the real me, and we forget about all the things that energized us in our joyful states.
I think a trap that is easy to fall into is to think that your most authentic self is your sad self, because truth can lie in the most menial things. It can lie in, you know, a stupid joke or a Bollywood dance. It can lie in a cup of tea.
So last night Melissa had some tea, and yesterday morning we went out and had some breakfast. Very much in this sort of thing, like we just need to get out and have some nice
have a nice little something. So it was nice. We had breakfast out, and then we had dinner out with friends.
And then we had some
just what the doctor ordered.
Decaf coffee last night, and watch H3H3.
Yes.
And on the cup, just go ahead and read the
Twin
cup.
Peaks.
Yeah, read
cup.
Read
so this is Agent Cooper. He goes, Harry, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Every day, once a day, give yourself a present. Don't plan it. Don't wait for it. Just let it happen. It could be a new shirt at the men's store, a cat nap in your office chair, or 2 cups of good, hot black coffee. There you go.
There it is.
Happiness unfolding.
Happiness
from
unfolding.
Coop in Twin Peaks.
So yeah, I think that is good advice. You know, trying to, I guess the difficulty when you're in the doldrums period of your life where things just, it's just hard to know which way is up, is kind of the way I put it in one of these other videos. It's like, I don't even know what makes me happy anymore. Like the things I think make me happy. This is the difficulty. We have become so dopamine dependent, you know, this getting that dopamine release, that a lot of things that make us happy for a short time are actually addictions that don't help. And that's why addiction and mental health are such, they end up being kind of a quagmire, you know, it just becomes this vicious cycle. So there's so many addictive things that actually sink you down further into it. And some people's addictions, whether it's like, you know, coffee or chocolate or something, really don't hurt them. And so it's, whereas other people with the more mental health problem, like even small things can, it just kind of sends you on this downward spiral. And they've done a good job of that, depicting that, I think, in shows like Breaking Bad or The Wire. Just the addictive nature of so much of this, just that you just can't feel a way out, because you can feel so good over here with this thing, or you can fight through and feel miserable. And sometimes I think that's why, you know, there's the temptation to go into that, oh, the real version of me is this sad version. Well, thank you, Hemant. That was really helpful, and we are trying to incorporate a little more joy, a little more cups of tea and coffee. All right, so this one was from the Improbable one here. This is a pretty inspiring story.
I'm not sick when I run. Like, I'm just so normal. You wouldn't think someone who goes unconscious like 14 times a day runs. Like, you just wouldn't put it that way. I don't let anything really get in the way of living life at all. I just don't think it's the way to go. I suppose, yeah, I don't let epilepsy get in the way at all.
Well, that's
nice.
Pretty humbling.
Right? It's like, yeah, what are we complaining about?
So yeah, Satya actually, a lot of people don't know this because this was prior to our vlogging days, but she had seizures, and yeah, it's
thankfully she had the kind that she outgrew, so she only had them for like 3 years.
Yeah, but I mean, for anyone witnessing them, it's just it's scary, and you know, you do have that, you know, like, oh, what do I do? Well, no, you don't do anything. Like, you just have to watch.
Right.
That puts things in perspective. That's the second great big story I've seen. It's both very good. Thanks to the Improbable one for that one, and he actually has another link here. So a little explicit language in this one. So these are letters that people wrote to each other, and they're kind of dramatically reread. So in this one, Benedict Cumberbatch is doing it.
Grinding away at yourself. Stop it and just do. Bad. Try to do some bad work. The worst thing you could think of is see what happens, but really relax and let everything go to hell. You are not responsible for the world. You're only responsible for your work, so just do it.
One final thought for this episode of Building a Better Me. Before I went to India, I had this notion, and it's something I meant to keep in my mind. And I actually gave a talk about this at one point, talking about how, in general, as humans, we tend to prioritize or lift to the top the people who are stars in one area. You can think about an Olympic athlete. You know, they're almost perfect in one specific area. The problem with that is we tend to give those people disproportionate authority in fields that have nothing to do with that. So as long as somebody gets successful in one area, we're like, oh, well, you must be good at everything. Well, that's just not true. And that's why we're seeing this rash of sexual harassment claims in Hollywood and in politics. Because we prioritize success in one area, it doesn't mean that person has dealt with self-control, that person has dealt with financial control. It almost encourages bad habits in other areas. And this, what the whole point of this show is all about. My soul went searching for a cause, but came back empty-handed. In the emptiness you see, I'm building a better me. A more holistic better me, not just someone who's successful in one cause. Because I think what ends up happening for me, I've noticed since I came back from India, like India was my cause. Like I really just wanted to understand India better, help other people understand India better. I still want to, but if you're only focused on that one cause, when that cause goes away, then you try to replace it with another one. And you just go from cause to cause to cause to cause. And I've seen this with a lot of successful people. I'll be reading their books, and then they'll get to something that's out of their expertise, and they are not right about this other thing. Like some serious moral things that I cannot believe you would say that. So that it really is the purpose, trying to build a much more well-rounded me. And I think it's a slower process, and sometimes it feels like you're not really making progress. I think in the end, you'll be better suited to deal with the problems of a very confusing world, because you're not just building your foundation on this one little tiny outcropping of a cliff, you know, that's ready to fall in at any moment. That you're building on a more solid foundation that's more well-rounded.